always, we want to start off giving infinite praise and worship to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kadash. Double honors to our apostles and our elders, a great millstone, who rule well, who teach well in sound doctrine. Strong shalom to the hopeful elect, and the rest of the large multitude, men, women, and children of the Lord. Have mercy on these last days, man. As we seeing a lot of stuff going on in the news, a lot of prophecies jumping off.
At 12 years old, you know.
I had did a video, man. I had to delete it. I don't know what the hell was wrong with it the other day, but basically, like, we still got other prophecies that has to come to pass outside of what's going on in Ukraine, because you got a lot of brothers that's getting real zealous over what's going on right now. But brothers got to remember the other prophecies must come first. You know. Matter of fact, grab that real quick. All right?
This is 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 1.
Hey. Well, you're doing 2 Ezra. Yeah, get 2 Ezra 4 and like 36 after that.
This is 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Yeah, so the Lord has a set time and measure. Matter of fact, read 4 real quick. We're going to come back to that. Yeah, like 36 or 37. Because the Lord got a set measure on the earth, and what we are supposed to measure the times that we're in, according to what he just said, which is prophecy, being in that right spirit. Like Apostle Tahar said, man, niggas shouldn't be talking about King David sandals with fringes on them, man. You know what I'm saying? The occupant is supposed to be occupied in prophecies. Go ahead, all right?
This is 2 Ezra chapter 4, verse 36. And unto these things, Uriel the archangel gave them answer and said, even when the number of seeds is filled in you, we have weighed the world in the balance. By measure have we measured the times, and by number have we numbered the times.
Is that 37? Yeah, it's like from the top.
All right, Khan. This is 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 37. It says, by measure have he measured the times.
Yeah, by measure have he measured the times, right?
And by number have he measured the times.
God.
And he doeth not move or stir until the said measure be filled.
Until the said measure be filled. So everything has its lot and everything has its portion according to when things are to be fulfilled. Now, that was the end on 37, right? Yeah, go back to 9 real quick. Because we still got different things. The Lord said he's going to start to visit the earth, which he made by these things that the brothers about to list in 2 Ezra 9. All right? These things still have to come to pass, man. You know?
This is 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein earthquake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning.
Right? What?
For like as all that is made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest.
So we're starting to see that. Can you grab Habakkuk 2? Somebody? Go ahead. Because we're starting to see the things manifest itself at the end of the world, right? Go ahead.
Verse 6.
At the end of the world of this man's rulership, of this man's kingdom. Right? Go ahead.
It says, even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works. And
the only thing that's going to save us in these times is a larger scale. You know what I'm saying? With the trucking systems and, you know,
in D.C. To do the same thing that they did in Canada. They headed to Washington, D.C. You know, whether they be control opposition or not, we can look up that term, control opposition. Whether they be control opposition or not, it's all
a set time for it to manifest itself. Like the bro just mentioned, through his policies. The Lord is using him to stir up the... Matter of fact, get that.
That's what the vision is. The vision is the prophecies, which the main prophecy that we're waiting on is for the beast system to implement the mark.
You're going to hold that though, Elder.
We got all these different nations across the globe turning to a digital currency. You know, Jamaica. I saw another article about Kenya, India, you know, China, Russia. All these nations, they're already developing their digital currency because that's going to set up for the new world order.
Right, and speaking as a man, what I've been noticing with this Ukraine situation, because brothers should know that Ukraine was a part of the Soviet Union, the USSR. So what I've been noticing is that I'm speaking as a man, that I feel like, because what is one of the main things Ukraine said was that they had no help from the United States. right? So they made that in the headlines, and I was just examining. I'm like, damn, I feel like that's gonna be one of the main things that stir up, because that's in the scriptures dealing with what's that, man? Y'all brothers know what that's at. No. He assembled. I just went into it, so like it. If I remember, Lord willing. But yeah, it's in the scriptures, because Apostle Tara was just going into this too, about them being assembled together. You know what I'm saying? About Putin doing this. You know what I'm saying? He got his hand in. He's going to be the major factor into what's going on. But what I noticed was that America is going to get blamed. Scriptures say, because Ukraine is on the eastern side, going towards where Putin dwells. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the Western Hemisphere and so forth. But he gonna be moving into these little territories, and where NATO can't react to a lot of them things because it would cause a nuclear war. But then you had the video with China dude from China just said a couple of days ago. Now, without speaking as a man, now about Putin doing this, it's giving everybody else the spirit to say, I can move in too. I can do this. I can do that. Because that's what the dude said on the video. The Chinese dude, man. It's on TikTok. The dude was like, yeah, I dare anybody to intervene when we have, you know what I'm saying, blah, 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 blah. You know? But go ahead, read that real quick.
Jeremiah, right?
Yeah.
Is Jeremiah?
You want to hold that,
Okay. Jeremiah.
That's going to link up with 2 Ezra 15.
Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it.
Yeah, because the scriptures say the righteous shall be scarcely saved. So we know it's a time that, to the point that we're not going to be able to, it's a time to the point that we're not going to be able to recognize that. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be feeling like, damn, the Lord, please don't forsake me, like Yahweh Shai did, man. When he was on the cross, we burying our cross, are we carrying our cross? So we're going to have to go through exactly what Yahweh Shai went through. Probably not as extreme, some brothers, but we're going to have to, you know what I'm saying, bear our cross, man. Right? So we're going to have to go through this thing called Jacob's trouble, right? You can go to Daniel 12:1, man. So famines, race wars, you know, pestilence. These are the things, Jeremiah 28:8, that the Lord said, where he set his men up to prophesy against. And when we do that, that means the kingdom is on its way of a major decline. But these things have to happen first. What? The big bang, man. You know? Well,
This is Daniel chapter 12 verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book.
right, so it has to be a period of time that has never happened on the face of the earth where the world recognizes it. You know what I'm saying? The world recognized it was a global smash image. They recognized that it was a global sickness. You know what I'm saying? So this thing, the Lord is going to manifest, it's going to have to be something that the world recognizes. Because remember, Revelation 18 tell you that Babylon's destruction is going to be televised. It's being televised right now across the whole 4 corners of the earth. Everybody is seeing the weak points of America, man. Where they thought these areas were strong points, which is why the people get these degrees. They come over here. I want to be a lawyer. I want to study ethics or economics or whatever. And they come to America, America's point of view. But they, people not doing that, man. They're going back to their home countries.
Chapter 7, verse 13. One of the elders answered, saying unto me, what are these which are arrayed in robes, and whence came they? And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Right, so ultimately, nobody has been tested yet. So if you think that the missiles is coming tomorrow, then you sadly mistaken, because we all got to be put in that furnace of adversity, the real furnace of adversity, which is the hour of temptation. Okay, we ain't fully into the hour of temptation yet, which is when that radio frequency device is made mandatory under the skin, subdermal, under the skin. That's why I was quoted saying the fourth industrial revolution will not be society changing, but the people changing, because they're gonna they want to merge you with technology. There was a cover of Time magazine, recent cover that Elder Yashimampa had posted it, but it was a cover from Time magazine And it said 2045, the year man becomes immortal. So this is what we've been saying all along, that Esau, his ultimate goal is to try to get back the birthright, which is the kingdom of heaven, which is immortality, man. And he's trying to do it through his left-hand energy technology, through the spiritual demon Satan. Ultimately, if he can alter the Heavenly Father's creation, and maybe he can change the story and how it would be. That's all vain.
That's what this whole thing is about. He said,
Right.
he's basically, he showed you that with vegetables, GMOs, and all these different things. Basically, he said the Most High's creation is not good enough. So he had to come with his artificial version of what, like, how can you create something fake in order to create something? Bro, it's crazy because it shows you that the way the Most High was already perfect, because you're trying to create an alternate version of it. But you're not taking it, you're not completely forming your own. You taking
Copying.
Copying and bits and pieces out of what art. That's how you know you the damn devil, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the Most High's way already perfect, man.
Already perfect.
Go ahead. What y'all got for? Oh yeah, you go down the yeah, you just all jump down towards the bottom. Somebody else is called or something.
Say yeah, Ezekiel 38.
What you need, bro?
Well, I was
got
just
a
thinking
quick
about
precept.
Ezekiel
What,
28.
bro?
It's the book of St. Matthew 24 and 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. And Salakia, let me start back from the top. This Matthew 24 and 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Just like the brother was just saying, like, you know, this time it's not fulfilled yet. All things got to, you know, come to pass as far as, you know, the nuclear missiles and the MOB to the T. So, you know, we just waiting on the Lord.
Well, yeah, because it told you that when the brother was in 2nd Ezra, it said that until the affliction of Zion is fulfilled, you know what I'm saying? And that's when, you know what I'm saying, the Lord is going to deliver the elect from those 6 and 7 troubles, man. You know what I'm saying?
But I want to expound when he said pestilence. You know, most of that pestilence is going to come from when these dead bodies, you know, are just laying around on the ground. You know, and that ain't going to happen.
Yeah, if you know where that scripture at, the scriptures tell you that it's in 2nd Ezra. About damn, I was just reading that too. Man. 2nd Ezra, it tell you that it should be nobody to bury. I think it's in 2nd Ezra 15.
Yeah,
It's in 2nd Ezra 15. Because it's not gonna be nobody to bury the dead bodies that the brother's going into. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think about it. You got people that tend to these events. You know what I'm saying? You have what's they call it, the grave sites where you gotta talk to. Yeah, morticians. You got people that specialize in these things, man. You think they're gonna be thinking about that? Nah, bro. It's gonna be immense chaos, man. You know what I'm saying? Chaos, order out of chaos. You know. Go ahead. Did you get that? You found that? Oh, you can find it.
This is Revelation chapter 17, verse 11. This is for Salakia 10. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition.
Yeah, so that
the 8th?
I was about to ask that, bro. Who anybody know what that is talking about?
The 8th head.
Which is the ancient Roman Empire.
Right. And America came out of who?
Great Britain.
So that's the scripture. I tried to do that so I can remember the scripture. I can't even remember. It's in Isaiah somewhere, but dealing with Great Britain. You know, but go ahead. Yeah, that's right.
You talking about her mother, your mother?
Yeah, that's another one too. Yeah, that's the spirit, bro. Yeah, I get in there. Your mother. Yeah, that's probably the same one I'm thinking about. You can find that both of the shot, bro. You gotta bring that up.
Verse 11. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast.
Yeah, that's what NATO. So the beast is NATO.
That's talking about NATO.
Right.
Those
Right.
10
So-
kings that receive power with the beast for a space of time.
Right. So, and now it's spread to what? Anybody know?
So 30.
It's 29. Yeah, it's probably 30, but it's 29 last time we checked. Yeah. So read that one more time.
Verse 12, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive powers as kings 1 hour with the beast.
Right, because NATO joined with and merged with the EU. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna get that power with the beast. All right. Go ahead. You got that? Hold that real quick.
This is Jeremiah 50 verse 10. I'm sorry, 10. And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, said the Lord. Because you were glad, because you rejoiced, all ye destroyers of mine heritage.
Right, and this is the place of the destroying of the inheritance of the Lord, man. That's why where Jerusalem is, the people are. That's where the place is, man. You know
They
what I'm
glad
saying?
to do it. They glad to destroy your heritage. They was glad to, pretty much strip you of your language, strip you of your customs, to strip you of your Bible, and to teach it to you backwards, to give you a false Messiah, then to set up, sports teams like the Cleveland Indians, the Washington Redskins, all these different, what'd you say?
Blackball.
Yeah, kind. All these different things that pretty much is making a mockery out of you Jakes, Like, I saw a Jake with a shirt. It was supposed to be like a Black Lives Matter shirt. It had the names of, like, all the people that have been shot and killed and didn't get justice. And I'm thinking, like, that hoodie itself is a mockery, man. Like, why would you walk? Is that not a testament to how weak and conquered our nation has become? You know what I'm saying? Why are you walking around wearing stupid shit like that, man? You know what I'm saying? With names of all the people that's been killed. That just show how this devil do what the fuck he want to you, man.
Right, that's why
That's me. That shit.
Well, no, that's how when you first come into the truth, you start telling your people about the stuff, and then you be like, all that shit, all that marching and shit, all that.
We don't support that Black Lives Matter shit. We don't support all that shit.
Yeah, when you tell your people,
Hoodies of
you know what I'm
dead
saying, you tell your people about that, then you tell them, hey, that marching shit is for the birds. They get mad, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nigga, ain't nothing changed since you was a kid, bro. The fuck is you talking about? Why you get mad at me? You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you the truth. Your goofy ass walking around like your brother said with these damn names and shit, trying to fight a cause that you can't even win, man.
That's backed by that's pushed by Edomite, George Soros. Man.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother, you know what I'm saying? Read that.
It says, Jeremiah 50 and 11, because you were glad, because you rejoiced.
Who was glad? Fucking America, Esau, Edom, man. See, Esau had you tricked.
Yeah, cause after he done took your language, after he done separated you from your family and your lineage, after he done established a new language in your tongue, a new law in your mind, a completely upside down society, got you celebrating all these false ways and following these false ways. They ain't want to come and talk about love after he already accomplished what the fuck he wanted to do to you, man.
Right.
Now, what does it matter now, dude? You already done destroyed us, and now you want to talk about love and shit. What was the love back then, man?
But the slicker of this damn devil, though, like him and Putin are the same people.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why, that's right. Because, Putin, he said, oh, yeah, you got Ukrainian terrorists, and what they're doing is they're occupying residential buildings and using the residents as a human shield. So we had to shoot that residential building. Yep. Well, that's the same thing America said 2 years ago, man, dealing with Iran. Yep. They said that's what Iran does. They take nuclear bombs and they move them through residential territories. So that's why they gotta. So all these Edomites, y'all got the same game plan and y'all use the same excuses. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because ultimately you was made to be that way. So like, you say you got a precept call.
For the brother. Lamentations 2 and 16. All thy enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They have hissed and gnashed their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we have looked for. We have found. We have seen.
Well, if you a devil, and you're on the other side of the spectrum, why wouldn't you look for the day of the righteous to fall? Because you on top. You can rule. Why wouldn't you? We don't blame an Edomite for being an Edomite, man. That's what people don't understand. Edomites gonna be who they are, man. So we gonna, all praise to Yahweh Shem Shah, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we understand that they can't get this, man. And because we know that, it gives us,
can't get it either.
There you go, and it gives us even more faith. it gives us more fire up under us to do the work of the Lord, man. All right, go ahead. All right.
Because Jeremiah 50:11, because you were glad, because you rejoiced, O you destroyers of mine heritage, because you are grown fat as the heifer, at grass and bellow as bulls. Your mother shall be sore confounded, and she that bare you shall be ashamed.
Yeah, because these Edomites, they live fat, man. They live fat. That's why I was meditating the other day too. Like these people who like follow these celebrities, you got people. There's a whole class of people that's so wealthy and so rich, and their children pretty much just got money to just blow and just go here and go there and do what they want to do. And a lot of them they pick one thing, whether it be like a TV show or a car or a celebrity, and they idolize it, and they spend a lot of money on memorabilia and shit like that, and they become obsessed with just one thing because they got all this money to blow. You know what I'm saying? And that's what these people do. They wax so fat that they can live lifestyles like that where they just follow Kanye West around, all his merch, go to all his shows. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they fat. They living fat.
It says, behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert.
The hindermost. What's the hindermost part of the earth? The Western Hemisphere, America. Okay, that's why it says in Acts the first chapter, when the disciples asked Yahushua, "Are you going to restore the kingdom to the nation of Israel right now?" He said, "No, it's not for you to know the times or the seasons, but you're going to receive power from the Holy Spirit, and you're going to prophesy on the uttermost parts of the world." And the word "uttermost," the Greek word is eschatos, which means the study of the end, or which means the end, at the end of. But you got something called eschatology, which is the study of the end. So it's talking about the ends of the earth. So that all hasn't been fulfilled. Probably gonna prophesy to all is fulfilled.
It says, because of the wrath of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all.
He belongs in a nursing home, man. He's not a war strategist. You know what I'm saying? Like Putin. Putin has been, and Putin has an ancient spirit. That's why he's more sharp for war, because number one, he got his country on lockdown. Okay, he's ruling, and he's been ruling for 20 years. He's been president for 20 years. So that's not really a president. It's like a dictatorship under the guise of a president. And I believe now he's built his. What happens is, the reason why America doesn't have no progress, and that's why the government is called Congress, which is the opposite of progress, if you ain't know. But the reason why America don't have no progress is because every 4 to 8 years you have to switch a president. So nothing can really get accomplished. The guy can't even get in the groove and get the proper people in place to make his agenda, bring it to fruition. So Putin has been in power for 20 years. That's more than enough time to have a vision, implement that vision, and now it's time to execute. And I think he's on a campaign to conquer, because he's an Edomite, man. That's what they do.
Like the lady said in the video, she said, dude was serving for 20 years, and he's been thinking about how he was going to take America down for 20 years, man.
I got a quote from not the brother, but he was saying how the fall of the USR was the worst thing that ever happened in geographical history. I wanted to pull that quote.
Who said that?
Putin. So
he know that. Because why is he saying that? Because he's not in a form of true power. You know what I'm saying? When the world look at you as you got weak points, you feel me?
Well, whenever you can be painted as the bad, like whenever the full story not coming out and your story not being heard, you don't have the power.
What Putin, like Apostle said, he said Putin not gonna strike America right now because he will go down as the worst president in the history of mankind. You know what I'm saying? So he knows that his name is on the line, but he stands behind what he preached though. But he also smart about it too. You know what I'm saying? Which is really the most high. What you got? What you looking for?
Yeah, it said this is from TRT World. It says Vladimir Putin, Russia's longtime leader, once described the collapse of the USSR, the predecessor state of Moscow, as the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the century.
Right.
So this man been waiting.
Exactly. Since he got in office, he's been waiting. And matter of fact, because they was going into his name and everything. Obviously, Ukraine was part of Russia, and it was more dominant too. but then
Another
it
thing,
failed. You know
Ukraine
what I'm
has
saying?
11 United States biolaboratories, nuclear biolaboratories in that country.
And they all over all hostage right now.
And that's why
about
Putin
Russia.
said that it's a military campaign. It's not really a campaign to destroy that country, but they're hitting strategical points, which is all these American nuclear facilities, man. Okay, because there's gonna be a nuclear war. So right now, what was that one? It was a movie where it was pretty much they was trying to seize a nuclear weapon that had gotten lost in the the logistics or whatever. They was trying to get the nuclear weapon back. So that's what it is right now. These nations trying to take control of different strategical points so that when that day comes, they can conquer or have control over them as much as they desire.
Because I already did I did a lesson on that. When you got Ukraine sits at a certain point on the map, and then you got certain avenues that they can use to come in, low land. You know what I'm saying? That they can use to invade Russia. And Putin is trying to stop that, man. He's trying to plug up all the loose ends and tie up the loose ends and plug up all the holes so that the nations won't have a strategic way, and he won't be defenseless. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Hold on, what you got?
Ezekiel 38.
I want to read verse 10 real quick. Then you can jump down.
Hold on, what you got?
Ezekiel
Go ahead, bro.
38.
And then jump back up to 4.
Okay. Ezekiel 38, verse 10. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, it shall come to pass that at the same time shall things come into my mind, into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. Okay.
That's referring to Gog and Magog, Russia.
They might as well just start
They gonna
at
think an
4.
evil thought. Go ahead.
Come. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest.
Right, because ultimately the ultimate land of unwalled villages is a city will be fortified with a wall. You know, you would make walls.
If I could
Continue.
add,
Even if there was a small wall, because even if it was a small wall, you still made a wall because it was a deterrent, something to buy you time.
That's why
Con.
that's why the Lord said
City without walls,
Walls,
a
without
man with no control over his spirit is like a city without walls.
Con.
Meaning any enemy, the adversary, which our adversary is Satan, can come in.
Con. Continuing with Ezekiel 38, verse 4.
I was going to have you read all the way down. Just start at the top, bro.
Oh, start. Okay. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him.
Right,
And
that's
say-
what we're doing. We're prophesying against these elites, man. You know what I'm saying? They the same people at the end of the day. Regardless of who attacking who, these motherfuckers the same people. Because you also, like Apostle Tara said, you got Jake that's also Ukrainians. And you got Jakes that's also Russians, man. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have those Jakes that's mixed and mingled into that, you know what I'm saying, where they're going to be at war. You think they're Russians or Ukrainians, but they're actual Jakes, man. So it don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we're set to prophesy against these countries, man. What you about to say?
I was going to say, like, Russia was established by the Jake. Like back in the 800s.
Verse 3, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back.
So ultimately, the Lord is against you, Russians. Even though it looks like the Lord is with you, He ain't gonna put you to destroy America. The Lord is against you. Because ultimately, like I said, what your Edomites are doing is you're pretty much hastening your slavery. No matter what you do, whether you think you're gonna win, you think you're gonna lose, it don't matter, because all this is leading up to is the slavery of the Edomites and the downfall of their society.
Pride of their heart have deceived me.
God. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen.
Anybody know what that's talking about?
God. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords.
Y'all know what I'm talking about?
his spirit, in
Right.
his tanks, and
What we just talking about it. The Lord is putting the spirit back in these ancient these cultures and bringing that ancient way back. The only difference, like the scripture said, is this war. It was at Isaiah, brother. You know what I'm talking about? It's gonna be fought by fire with fire. This time, instead of like with arrows and the arrows are the nukes, but instead of like with traditional bow and arrows and shit like that, the Lord, this war is gonna be perceived by nuclear fire, man. Because the Father's Spirit is in those warheads. He's a consuming fire. And he's in the midst of that army, man. That's why they're not gonna miss their target. You know, he's gonna control every target to be exact, man. Did you find that out?
Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet.
Yeah, hold on. You can read that real
Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 30. Also the Carmadians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood. This is the book of Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 27. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For the heavenly Father shall
Right, these not gonna disappear, bro. These plays gonna intensify until the coming day of the Lord, man.
Until they come over here too.
There you go. Go ahead, all right.
For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth.
See, the brother just made a good point because the world is looking at it as, oh, there's another thing going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? Because we're in America, we ain't gonna know. This place is gonna get hit. As soon as this place get touched, bro, I'm telling you, as soon as this place get touched, the scriptures touch it's over with because there's no coming back. You know what I'm saying? This is a torture, this torment. You know what I'm saying? The plagues, the pestilence, the prophets being out here. This is a thorn, this is a burden upon Esau, like the scriptures say, man.
Yeah, and there was a video the brother put up about an Israelite. He was playing professional basketball in Ukraine, and he was pretty much, you know, panicking. You know, he was hysterical. He was like, I gotta get out of here. I'm scared, this and that. You know what I'm saying? And he had that spirit of trembling on him. You know, the scripture speaks about all faces shall gather blackness. Because, you see, everything is cool. He's living his life. He's a professional basketball player, international, you know. Probably got a nice little woman, you know what I'm saying? Got some money in his pocket. Probably drive a nice little car. He travel the world. But then, as soon as you realize that missiles is headed to your vicinity. Oh, no, you good? Right, we out here for the noise. It's a damn. Oh, as soon as you realize there's some missiles coming into your vicinity, man, shit get real, man. You know, and you that spirit of damn, what am I gonna do? Where am I gonna go? I gotta get out of here, because bombs about to start dropping. That's gonna overtake this country, man.
Motherfucker, I just seen a video. This nigga was like, it was some people that was trying to get escorted out of Ukraine from the U.S. From the U.S. Help, and the dude, he was on the video. He was like, man, we don't need escorting out. We need guns, man.
He said the Ukrainian president. He said he's not surrendering. He said he need weapons.
He is a comedian.
What?
He's a comedian.
Well, they all actors. Oh, that was the same video? I thought it was another video. It was like four or five dudes in the video.
I know it was a quote from the Ukrainian president. He said that Biden asked him to be extradited if he wanted to be escorted out of the country. He said he said he don't need a ride. He need ammunition.
Okay, yeah, no, that's it. Okay, so
This
that's
is
how they all
Isaiah.
said it then. Yeah, that's
Isaiah 30, well, because see, it's some in the spirit telling them that this is the end.
Yeah.
That's why Russia said we don't give a fuck about sanctions.
Man.
You know, because the spirit is in everybody to see. Look around, the world is in shambles. This is it, man. It says Isaiah 13 and 8, they shall be afraid. Verse 6. How ye, for the day of Yahweh is at hand, it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. Yeah, and your heart is your mind. And how can your heart melt? Or your thoughts is all scrambled. You know, you can't formulate a plan of action because your heart is melting because you're in a position that you can't get yourself out of. The stage of that
chapter 2, but you know what I'm saying, going into the same thing.
So that's the type of spirit pure people gonna be in, knowing that fire is coming.
Go bring that real quick. This is start at 27.
All right, Con. 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 27. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For the Most High shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and with the multitude of them shall be carried away.
That's how we know we're still waiting on certain prophecies to be fulfilled, mainly the mark of the beast. But there are other major players that has to be called into this picture before we know that we about to be delivered. Okay.
That's the priest. Okay.
What's the most major player that we looking for as far as wars concern our salvation? No, what I'm saying, what's the major player as far as war that we looking for to get into this picture? That's one, but what was one that's more major
China.
than that?
Talk about China.
No, that's one that's more major than that.
Britain?
I guess so.
What you say?
Let us stop. Let us stop.
No, y'all know it though. That's the thing. Y'all know it. Y'all just gotta think. I said, what's the country that's the most major player that we looking for to get involved? So that we know. Hell no.
Oh, I thought you was gonna say because China.
Think biblically.
Nah, brother.
You got it wrong. It's all right.
No, that's cool. I thought you was talking about in a sense of what we should. No, I thought you was talking about in this. I mean, because that's the answer.
Yeah, the most major player. That's the major players that you got to look for. You got to look for Gog and Magog. You got to look for Amalek, and you got to look for Persia. You know, those are the main players. They also list Turkey too in Ezekiel 38, and that's a big Gomer.
Yep, that's a big thing too. You got Libya. You got the new president over there in Israel. Man, he on a whole different.
I don't really know what he's on. Yeah, I can't really tell. He's
No, he's speaking. No, I'm saying the spirit jumped on him. Remember, I had did that video when the Lord had him say America was Babylon. You know what I'm saying? He was like a man when he was Babylon. He said we got the largest sect of Jews in Israel right now, the largest that it's ever been, and they had came out of Babylon. I mean, America, he had slipped up. But the point is that he's gonna, you know what I'm saying? The spirit is showing like, okay, he's gonna be the one of them, the main one that's gonna be that issue is like pulling out. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like, man, it's not put out.
Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 29. Behold, a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and a multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood.
Like Carmanians being the Iranians. Iran.
Right, and they being what? Stirred up. It's a good fighter, and a nigga come in and he don't.
You know, the NATO basically provoked Russia. So it's like,
Who said that?
the Iranians. They said NATO provoked Russia, man.
Because look, they're trying to get NATO to react though.
And there's regions in Ukraine, you know, like Crimea, where the Ukrainian government is not giving them water. They have a limited amount of water. They've had a limited amount of water for years, and they're basically starving them people out over there. So there's a bunch of things that the Ukrainian government is doing that nobody's talking about. But like I said, that's what the narrative is going to be, and that's the way that it's got to be, because the Lord is putting a spirit of division and confusion in the midst of this place.
There you go.
So you don't know who really the good guy, who really the bad guy. It get to the point like when you argue with a woman, which you shouldn't argue with a woman, but because when you argue with a woman, you get to the point where you be like, what the fuck are we even arguing about?
Right.
You keep going back and forth, and then before you know it, you forgot what the fuck we were mad. Like, what you arguing about? Like, what the fuck? You brought up this point.
Yeah, I don't want to.
But that's confusion, though, right? That's the point.
Yeah, the point. Yeah, I forgot it. It's gone. Go ahead, bro.
God, the point is that confusion, you know? That's why the Lord said, He'll lay a snare for thee, and thou do it not. Your evil shall come upon thee, and thou shalt not know whence it riseth.
Oh, it's like I remember, because that's the point that we was talking about earlier, dealing with that's what the whole 2014 thing was about. Russia came in, they joined hand in hand with who? The so-called rebels that was in Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? The rebels were standing up because they didn't like the Ukraine being an independent know what I'm saying? They wanted, because the guy that's ruling now, I think, what is he, the brother of the boxer? Is he the brother? I know he related to the Russian dude. I mean, the Ukrainian dude that fought, I can't remember. Yeah, but he a boxer. And I don't know if they're related or not, I'm quoting that wrong, but I know that the dude has relevance. And he been there for 8 years or so? But anyways, the rebels rised up, and they didn't want this guy to have this state of independence. So they became rebels, and then Russia came in and fought alongside of the rebels. You see what I'm saying? Back in 2014. But now you have a higher status of this whole, because it's not by coincidence, man. It's all set up, strategically done. War doesn't just happen automatically. You know what I mean? Just on that same day. All right, we're gonna go to war today. No, bro, this thing is planned out. You know what I'm saying? Years, 20, 30, 40, 50 years advance. You know what I'm saying? They've been planning to push the MOT to the B when it first came out, man. 50s and the 60s. You know what I'm saying? We've been talking about that, man. So how much more war? You know what I'm saying? How much more the people pointing the nuclear warheads to America, man? People tired of America, man. You know?
It's like Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter reminds us to that. Like it's a time for everything.
Mm-hmm. Always that time.
Time to, thrive and a time to, pluck and diminish.
Time to love, a time to hate.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 30. So the Carmadians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood. Have a great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Hey, keep going.
No, I mean, cause look, so what's gonna happen is you got these countries that's going you got countries that are allies with each other, man. So if you made a pact with somebody and somebody threatens that pact, you have to intervene at some point. You know what I'm saying? And then, so like Apostle Tahar said when we was reading this in Revelation 17, you have different countries that are not a part of NATO, and you have different countries that are not a part of the EU. But the NATO and the EU are synonymous with each other. You know what I'm saying? That's what gave that's what gave the power to the beast. You know what I'm saying? Which is the image, which is his system. Right? Keep going. I think it's more than that. Where you at? Yeah. You can go.
All right. Verse 31. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature.
Right, so they're remembering their nature. Who will remember his Soviet nature, man? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, all right.
And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then these shall be troubled and keep silence through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them, and in their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings.
Yeah, and then well, damn, you still got that precept? You was holding? Because, damn, I forgot to say, there's some precept that you was holding, bro. Yeah. We do have other things that have to come to pass according to prophecies, man. You know, you still got Isaiah 41. You know what I'm saying? These women gonna seek men of the Lord. You still got you gotta have it where the internet completely takes away the true doctrine of the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? And we see this is nothing but the scriptures call it birth pains. This ain't nothing but birth pains. You know what I'm saying?
Beginning of sorrow.
Labor. You know what I'm saying?
Beginning of Jacob's trouble. Because this is gonna cause war had to take place because war.
The extreme of China's military, we know is extreme, but we don't even know how extreme it really is.
So they're very secretive.
Yeah, man.
And the thing is, that's all I'm gonna say.
And somebody stepped down, I think, in the United States. I think in the military because they knew that our missile defense system is ancient. It's like old as shit. Like the United States.
Well, yeah, it's pretty much the same. It hasn't upgraded too much since World War II. And that's why. That's what I was gonna say. That's why Russia is the aggressor because they got the bigger arsenal. You know what I'm saying? And because over in the East, they have access. They do business with Iran.
Yep.
They on good terms with Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, where they get the uranium, where they get the lithium, where they get these different mercury and these different chemicals to make the nuclear weapons. America not on good terms. They don't do business to get a boatload of uranium.
Shit.
You know,
and then
America got to get it how they get it, and they might get it from a guy who got it from a guy who got it from a guy.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Russia buys. I saw statistics today. Russia buy like over 70% of their ships from China, man. That's crazy, bro. You know how much elite you
Because
gotta be
what
with
happened
somebody to buy
was-
70% of their ships, man?
Right, because what happened was America set himself apart and up over all the nations of the Eastern Hemisphere, besides Europe. So the the other nations outside of Europe, they pretty much all formed alliances and said, "Oh, we gotta strengthen ourselves together." And somebody get Isaiah to the 14.
Because that's
Joel
that,
chapter two.
that's what the NATO's about. The NATO came around what? Y'all know what year?
Let the weak say,
19 what?
Joel 3.
When NATO came around.
It was after 1948 though.
Yeah, it was 1950.
All they shall speak and say
Oh,
unto thee,
Slocky, that's what you were saying. Because Biden just said that on the news. He said that Putin don't want war, and I guarantee he don't want war. Because the brother Yaquam had said something about you had said something along the lines that they think like they've been duped in a sense, like they think they're more powerful
They
than they
still
are.
living in 1956. It's
That's
not 1950. America is not the top dog no more, man. And that's what we reading. Go ahead.
it says, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave.
See, they still stuck in that pump phase, you know, which was when they was at the height of their rulership. You know, World War I.
The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?
Oh, you read the weak, become weak as we? Read that part? Okay, kind of go ahead. Because Joel real quick.
Joel 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war.
Right, so America up here by itself, controlling the world. America, Europe, NATO, the EU. But remember, NATO, EU, all Edomites. America, Edomites. Russia, Edomites. So why Russia ain't a part of NATO, EU? Why Russia not a part of the beast? That's why the apostles tell us, teach us, Russia not a part of the beast. So Russia don't come against the beast. Russia represents a division within the house of Edom. Okay, and so the Eastern Hemisphere, they said, look, we're gonna create allies in the Eastern Hemisphere, and we're gonna strengthen each other to wage war and pounce on America, to jump America. Got it.
God. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near.
Said
Let
prepare
them come
war.
out.
Yeah.
Right, because war has to be prepared.
There you go.
For
There
months,
you go.
for months they had military equipment moving back and forth. Okay, and they still got National Guard troops moving back and forth throughout America. But when they implement martial law here in America,
Because that has to happen too. That has to happen, man.
you got a question, bro?
bro?
You got a question? Yeah, Nate, you
Say
got a
when we
question?
read, told us
Let's
to
get
read the
this
Holy
started.
Scripture. Edification.
Okay. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. A shift from agricultural to military mindset. Okay, that's what Russia did. That's what China did. That's what India did. Iran, Afghanistan, Iraq. All these Eastern Hemisphere nations that all would rather side with Russia than America. They've been strengthening themselves. So now it says that the weak is saying, "I am strong." Read that again.
They'll put more money into their military than their economy, man. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Art.
Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
Right, because ultimately the Lord has a mission for them. That's why the weak gotta say they strong, because the Lord got a mission for you. That's why the Lord said, "Up, Ezra." You know, he told Job, "Stand up." You know, because the Lord has a mission for everybody on the planet Earth. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh. Go ahead.
Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together.
I mean, dude, Putin looked like a villain in a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like if you was to make a movie and you needed a guy to do the job, you would get somebody that looked like Putin, man. So the Lord is beautiful, man. You know, I just think about his movie like, man, wow. You know, we gonna look back and be like, damn, this was a cold movie, man. He got that serious look. You know, he said America will face consequences that they have never faced, man. You know, you got it.
Gather yourselves together
Right,
round about.
right.
Thither cause thy mighty.
Roundabout. Russia is they're on the eastern border of Ukraine. They're at the north and the northeast, northwest. You know, they're surrounding it because they're allies with Belarus. But Belarus is right above Ukraine, and they're allies with Belarus. And they've been entering in through Belarus.
God. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down.
What the Lord is doing is he's shaking the heavens. Okay, anytime a rulership is being transferred, man, somebody get kicked off the throne, this government gets taken out of power. The Lord is shaking the heavens, man. That's what He's doing right now. You know.
Oh Lord, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Right, wake up, man, and they're all waking up to America's bullshit. You know, they said, you know, these nations. They're about to jump on you, man. You know, that's the best way I can metaphorically describe it. America about to get nuclear jump.
Yeah, real talk. They said, which is the Father's judgment. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh's judgment. All right? And the Lord is going to judge the nations. But it's crazy how crazy as it sounds is that the Lord is using you to muster up the battle just to destroy yourself, man. You know? The Lord is showing you how much He cares about you nations, man. You know? It's more than that.
God. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
So, because ultimately this is for the judgment of all nations, not just in America. The main bully, the main tyrant, you know, the most guilty, the most proud. But this judgment is going to be upon all nations and upon all their armies. Okay, go ahead.
Especially the 2/3.
Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full.
He said, hold on. He said,
really?
He said, what? Put
ye in the sickle.
Right, man. It's time for plucking. Matthew 15:13. My Father has not planted. About the loose plucking, like it says in Revelation. By those sharp sickles, those missiles, man.
For the press,
Almost finished. In society, right? Esau joined the military to get a gift. They joined the military to get a gift, right? You know, and Esau joined the military to get a license to kill, right? To get a license to kill.
That's it right there. A license to kill.
Look here,
Blood.
why would you know? It's better than Call of Duty.
Right. It's real life. These ain't
That's
pure.
better than Call of Duty. Go ahead,
multitudes in the valley of the
that's
city.
nature, shit. Right.
And it is.
That's why I said that's not our blessing, man. If it was our blessing, she would have been like black woman, you know,
In the thing.
she went in the car and cried. You know, they said she gonna cry in the car. Yeah, that's what she was doing. Go ahead, dog. It's like,
Come to think of it, you don't really hear about Edomites getting PTSD. That's happening to Jakes.
Hell yeah.
No, they love it. They have an insatiable lust for blood. And that was given to them by Isaac through the spirit of Yahweh Shai.
Jake put on the video TikTok. Niggas like, all you Jake. He was like, all you niggas out there, all you thugs and you gangsters and shit. You saw that? He was like, all you niggas that's about it or tough or whatever. Hey, it's your time to shine now. Going over there in Ukraine and you
that's
bust
the
that
thing though
shit,
too.
man.
Jake was crying over the V. Remember one video? Jake was in the army and she's like, they're gonna take my livelihood. They're gonna throw me in jail. They're gonna say this and that, dishonorable discharge. They're gonna throw me in jail. Well, nigga, you in the army? You literally signed up to risk your life, and you scared to go to jail to refuse a V? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro. Their fear is misguided. Your fear should be too. Yahweh Bashmel Shai. Misguided fear. Or misdirected fear.
Yeah, it's all bluff. Like we said it earlier. They're trying to be like Esau, trying to be this tough guy on the earth, prove themselves. You don't gotta be that, man. You're already what you are.
Well, once they
Muhammad Ali and Tyson already.
Well,
They don't gotta walk in the room and start shadow boxing and shit.
Right. But that's the thing though. Now they're in a position where they gotta be tough, and they're not. They're crying in the car. They're folding. They're complaining. They're saying, "Look, nobody joins the military to go." Somebody get that.
I got it, bro.
Go ahead, Hosea 3:5.
Book of Hosea. 4.
3 and 4.
Hosea, the book of Hosea 3, verse 4. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim.
Right. That's the position that we in. And we've been in for many days without a king.
For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice.
So without a government, okay, without a government, and then it said without a sacrifice, meaning without a temple,
And
without a place to execute priestly duties. You got it?
and without an image.
So how you sacrificing for your sins? Read that one more time.
For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice,
Right.
and without an image.
Without a sacrifice, we abode many days without a sacrifice, because the sacrifice was taken away. Antiochus Epiphanes. All right, the weekly sacrifice, the daily sacrifice was taken away, and it had to come a new sacrifice, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. You got it?
And without an ephod, and without a teraphim. Afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their power, and David their king.
Right. And you sought to the wrong king. You said we have no you said we have no king but Caesar. All right, but you're supposed to be looking for David. See, that's what said your fear is misguided, man. Your zeal is misguided. Go ahead.
Oh, and seek the Lord their power, and David their king, and shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter day.
Right, and that's being fulfilled in the hopeful elect. You know, the brothers and sisters that occupy these videos, these lessons.
Yeah, going into the third temple being built, the house of David. You know, that's us seeking the Lord, man, seeking David, man. You know, man, that was a point I was about to say.
You can do Isaiah 31. You got
Yeah,
yeah,
Still want the Obadiah?
Yeah. Just read this real quick to back this up.
It's Isaiah 31. I'm starting to read it from the top. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not to the Holy One of Yasharala, neither seek Yahweh Bashar Shai thy power.
Right. You know, that's pretty much what it is. You know, a lot of the Israelites join the military because they impoverished. You know, they want to make a better way for their mom or pay for their father's illnesses, and you know they're making sacrifices. You know, so but instead of seeking to Yahweh Shai and praying to the Lord God, you know, they rather take a carnal route. You know, what they think is an easy carnal route. You know,
It says, yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity.
right? Because what you're doing is you're helping the workers of iniquity. You're helping the spiritual demon Satan forward his agenda. That's what you're doing, because you're fighting for, whether you're fighting for the American military or the Russian military or the Ukrainian military, it don't matter, man. You're still fighting for the enemy.
There you go.
Because the armies of the earth, they all work for the wicked elite, the top international bankers.
And every one of them gonna die.
Right, that's why the top, not the top, but the China central bank is owned by the Rothschilds, man. So you think, oh, well, China's doing their own, China gonna rule. Look, man, everybody's being controlled by the wicked elite, man. So this really is all just a smoke and mirrors game, man, with this whole Russia, Ukraine, and this guy, this country, and that country. Nigga, it all go back to the top wicked elite, man.
It says,
And their goal is to bring about transhumanism, okay, through the calamities that they're causing.
now the Egyptians are men and not power,
Right.
and their horses flesh and not spirit.
Right. See, and that's what you realize when you in the car making a video about being in the military. You realize that, look, damn, I don't have no spiritual power behind me. You know, I'm about to go into a battlefield with just a bullet and a vest.
Shit, we
You
gotta
know
be
what I'm
like,
saying?
what's that, David? He said, I don't need this armor and take the armor off.
Exactly. Because none of that really what matters is if the Lord is with you or not. The armor, like, that's a good point. The armor, the sword, you know, all the honorary equipment that Saul wanted to give David, he denied it. He said, "I've not been proven for these." He said, "Well, what? Who have I slain to earn this?" You know.
I bring that out a lot. You know, they know we are the most susceptible to attacks. The Heavenly Father not dealing with us.
That's why they keep us weak. You know, we're working on the vibrations around us, but the Lord can't deal with us like He wants to. He said, you know, my eyes are too pure to behold the evil, you know what I'm saying, to be amongst that. You got to be clean. You can't come across your woman before you come to the Lord. So how much more everything goes, you know what I mean? But this is Isaiah 31:3. Now the Egyptians are men and not power in their hearts and flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand,
Because that's what you're going to be faced against. Read that one more time.
now the Egyptians are men and not power.
Right, because the men are going to have to fight against power. You got to fight power. Not fight power. Not that power. You talking about the power. The Alahayim. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. Okay? So how you going to have a man that's going to fight power? You see, you pretty much you chose the wrong team. If you were in Esau's military, you picked the wrong team, man. You know what I'm saying? Got it out.
This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 7. And there was war in heaven.
Right.
Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels.
The war is going to be fought in heaven, meaning the upper atmosphere, okay? With the to do the bidding of the wicked elite.
Right, because how can you destroy somebody with peace? You know what I'm saying? So it's contrary to life.
It gives you a way that looks like it'll give you a peaceful ending, but it really is the ways of death. Right. Like he'll write a law and say that a man can marry a man. Okay? And you look at it as if you stupid, you know, we don't, but if you're born under a rock, you know, you look at it as love is love. You know? But that's the way it's gonna destroy you. Oh, they got a condom where you could have anal sex, man. They got a condom for anal sex now.
They just approved it, yo.
So that's a part of that. By peace, he shall destroy many, man.
Come read from top again. It says Daniel 8:25, and through his policy also he shall cause triumph to prosper in his hand, and shall magnify himself in his heart. And that gets him off, man. Who making these laws that fulfills him, man? You know,
the proud, the Marine,
because
magnify himself in his heart. That's what got them joining. That's what made.
Proud.
I want to be a few. I want to be proud. I want to be a Marine.
And by peace to destroy many, right? By his laws and legislations that he set forth, you know what I'm saying, to make the people feel good, you know what I'm saying? It says, and it's really do what thou will. Because what did he say?
You got the freedom. That's what America's about, freedom, which means, translation means freedom to be wicked. The freedom to commit any sin that you want to.
Yeah, because what did the Son say? This is real quick. This is 2 Maccabees 7:16. It says, then looked he unto the king and said, thou hast power over man, thou art corruptible, thou doest what thou wilt, yet think not that our nation is forsaken of the Most High. Showing you that doing what you will is against the Most High, because we don't have we don't have free will, man. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, you got
they
free
push
will.
that though.
Yeah, right. They push. What they push is that you have the ability to do whatever you want and not be punished.
Right, no judgment.
Right, right. And which in your mind, you had the will to go left or right, but ultimately the Heavenly Father has already determined what you're gonna do.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
like
saying?
Like it says Ecclesiastes 8. Speedily, therefore, is in the hearts of the sons of man. It says that by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but shall be broken without hand.
Yeah, so you're gonna be broken.
Because the brothers brought out. That's really linking up with what's that? I got it. First Maccabees 6, dealing with Judas, but that's talking about Yahweh Shai. It's twofold. Because Yahweh Shai is going to break this man without hand. Like it says in 2 Ezra 13, and brothers brought out Revelations 12 and 7. You know? But
I'm still making the point. And are not my days few? Cease then and let me alone, that I may take comfort a little. Before I go, whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death, a land of darkness, as darkness itself, and and of the shadow of death, without any water, and where the light is as darkness. This is a dark saying. It's Job's prophesying, talking about America. And how do we know that this is going on? Look at all the LMAO activity that's going on and being condoned. Look how everything is in direct opposition to what Yahweh Shem says is correct. So it's no coincidence that this is spiritually and morally low. That's why Ezekiel 37 compares this place to a valley. And this water, via the sound doctrine of the scriptures, is the
Shaquam on mortal powers and mortal weapons is on the wrong team when you're coming up against the great power of Yahweh Shah. 2 Kings, chapter 6, starting at verse 15. And when the servant of the man of power was risen early and gone forth, behold, an host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, Allah, my master, how shall we do? And he answered, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. And Elijah prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw. And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elijah.
That's our Air Force. That's the Air Force of the elect. Yahweh Shem Shah. Okay, which are the angels of heaven. All right, and that, like you said, you on the wrong team, man. You joined the wrong team. This is Isaiah 31 and verse 3. Now the Egyptians are men and not power.
I didn't finish that.
Yeah, God. And their horses flesh and not spirit. You see, so their horses, which the horses represent, you know, their vehicles. Okay, their horses are flesh. All right, their horses are tanks. Their horses are jets. You know, their horses are Humvees. You know, while our horses are chariots, man. Are literally pure energy, man. You know, are clouds of fire,
Right.
and pillars of fire.
Bro, that shows you like these dudes is carnal, man. They are carnal, man. Their power structure requires a physical, you know what I'm saying, attribute, man.
Isaiah 31 verse 3. Now the Egyptians are men and not power, and their horses flesh and not spirit.
So if we at war, don't we supposed to know our enemy, man? So we supposed to know what kind of mindset Esau has, man. You got Jake talking about Esau spiritual. Esau not spiritual, man. Because that goes into a whole plethora of things, man. He's a carnal man.
Now it says that their horses flesh and not spirit, because their horses are going to have to go up against. How you going to fight the spirit? They're going to have to fight the spirit. That's why I'm comparing these two, because this was going to be opposing each other. And who you think going to win?
And Salaki, real quick, you made a beautiful point. You said that Esau can't be spiritual. What does the scripture say? It says wisdom will not enter into a malicious soul.
So Isaiah 31 and 3. Now the Egyptians are men and not power, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When Yahweh shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fail together. See, so anybody that's joined unto this man's military, Proverbs 11 and 21, it tells you that though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. It said that those all that are joined unto him shall fall by the sword in Isaiah the 13th chapter, man. So if you an Israelite, so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Indian, and you find yourself in the midst of this man's military, man, the best thing for you to do is go AWOL, find out the proper procedures to get the hell up out of there, man. All right, because you ain't doing nothing good for your future.
Yeah, kind.
This is Psalms 9, and I start at 17. It says, the wicked shall be turned into hell, and all nations that forget Yahweh Shem Yahushai. For the needy shall not all be forgotten. The expectations of the poor shall not perish forever. Arise, O Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, let not man prevail. Let the heathen be judged in thy sight, and that's going to be in the valley of judgment. Put them in fear, O Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that the nations may know themselves to be but men.
Right. Yep, the nations are just men, man.
This second Ezra 13 and 727. And whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came as a blast of wind and fire and storm, and that he held neither instrument nor any instrument of war.
Between individuals on an individual level, one person against another, one place against another, you're gonna have different militias forming, you know, communities banding together, you know. This is what's going to be taking place here in America. Different states is going to be, Mississippi ain't fucking with the rest of America. Mississippi going to be doing their own thing. Texas going to be doing their own thing. You know, these different countries, they're going to form their own strongholds and fortifications. All right. And the divisions is going to intensify.
And then it said one realm against the other, man. The brother was going into the spirit, Isaiah 31. You know what I'm saying? The physical going against the spiritual side of things, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're going to see. We're going to literally see what the Christians are so bugged out about. We're literally going to see this war in heaven, man. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be here, though, on a physical playing field where judgment is executed.
Yeah, you ever saw War of the Worlds? What do you think that was about? That's about the war in heaven. Independence Day. You know, but it ain't going to end how it ended. That's why it's and they always try to use Esau as the savior, man. Look, like a Wakanda when Esau came in, had the jet. Who else they gonna use? You know what I'm talking about? That part? You gotta use this nigga. Who else they gonna use? Man, this is my shit. This is Esau's society.
Real talk.
That's how you feel.
Real talk.
Yeah.
It said no matter who the character's playing in that motherfucker. It said, excuse my
Like
swag.
Egypt is all white people. You know?
Oh, but 2nd Ezra 13. 2nd Ezra 13 and 32. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen which I showed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man descending. When all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle that they have one against another. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting, but he shall stand up upon the top of the Mount Zion, and that's the Lord, man. You know they're gonna come back, try to fight the Lord, and how they're gonna break them without hand, man. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna lift up no any instrument of war. The chariot's gonna send out those beams, man, and they're gonna wreak havoc in 1 hour, man. You know, man, that's what these nations really don't want, man. But it's inevitable, man. You know. Just like they saying right now, we don't want nuclear war, or what's going on? We don't want war with Russia. Putin, I mean, Biden threatening Putin, and Putin still invaded. You know what I'm saying? Like, these niggas don't, bro, the spirit of the Lord is doing this, man.
How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder?
There you go.
Okay, the Lord said, and somebody got that Obadiah, and also Jeremiah 49. See, because this war ain't gonna be over. You know, it's just getting started, and it's not about to end no time soon. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, because Russia is in the thick of Ukraine, and there's intense fighting going on. They got the tanks, they got the jets. They not leaving no time soon. If they in there with tanks, that mean they comfortable. You know, that mean that they there to go to war. You got it. Start at the top.
This is the book of Obadiah 1 and verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is set amongst the heathen.
Right.
Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
So the Lord had commanded these heathen to rise up against Edom, man. And that's what you see taking place. That's why, again, Russia and all the nations of the Eastern Hemisphere, they developed relationships, developed military power together, because they've been given a commandment from the Lord. It's been put in their mind, pursuant to Revelation, the 17th chapter. It's been put in their mind to come up against America. Read that again, huh?
This is the book of Obadiah, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is set among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high.
Right, whose habitation is high. You got a plane going by right now, man. That's what Edomites think, that their houses is going to continue forever. Even a righteous man will understand that, look, this dwelling place is only going to be for so long, and I'm going to have to move.
Right. A time stamp on everything.
Right.
Bro. That's it. Life.
Right.
Like, everything show you that.
Right.
You know? It's a time stamp. Yeah, who read that first one?
This is Isaiah 14 and 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations?
Yeah, he weakened the nations by his policies and his legislations and his rules and regulations,
His sword.
and his
hammer,
sword,
His hammer.
his mindset.
Matter of fact, anybody got
Great
blue letter?
tax too.
Huh?
It's great
Blue
tax
letter?
too.
Go to that
Yeah, that's
word
all
hammer.
involved in his mindset. Going with this image.
I mean, you know, just in case you might be fast.
This is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? It says, for thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven.
Yeah, he really weakened the nations. You know, he especially weakened Japan. Pretty much every nation that he's done ran through and conquered. You know, he weakened that nation. He took away that nation's custom. He took away their ability to have their own economy. You know, he infiltrate. There's no room to, you know what I'm saying? There's no room to infiltrate a family dynasty. So that's why they switched to this democracy. And that goes back to Revelation 13, 2 horns like a lamb, speaking as a dragon. That goes back to all of that. Book of, I had Jeremiah 40. Because this, well, we could finish building up to it, but really, ultimately, what all these nations coming up against America is going to amount to is the nuclear destruction. So that's what I was going to read the top scripture on the nuclear destruction.
Okay, yeah, no, I got something.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 13. For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the heavenly Father. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
Right. You don't show like that, but you don't reference the truth, man. You know, they got icons in Russia of the Israelites, you know, in their proper appearance. You know what I'm saying? I see Vladimir Putin was taking a screen photo because that's what I said, man. The Lord is cold, man. The Lord is cold. You know, he gonna put it in the spirit of the Edomites to end the Edomite society.
I just said that like 10 minutes ago.
And Edomites want to rule bad as
The rod of his oppressor, as in the day of Midian. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood. So that's what I was talking about earlier. Because all the ancient previous wars were fought with a certain way.
military conquest.
There you go, on foot. You know what I'm saying? You have more of combat. You have more of arrows. We was talking about actual bow and arrows. Yeah, there you go. You have all that. But there you go. You know. But this war is gonna be something different.
Yeah, that's why I was saying too. My lesson, like when the Lord he speaks about their young men shall be dashed to pieces.
Right.
They shall be utterly, you know, basically disintegrated.
Yup.
Well, a gun don't do that. A gun ain't gonna dash you to pieces, man.
No.
It's talking about missiles, man. That's what missiles do.
Not a flaming torch.
So when if you get dashed to pieces, that means an arm is here, a leg is there. You know, your torso is over here, your head.
Verse 14. I have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her.
That's the angel telling the heathen what to do, to fulfill the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, to get vengeance, to get payback for you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who don't even want it. That's how righteous our God is. He's gonna give you recompense when you don't even want it. He's gonna give you payback when you don't even want it.
That's how just he is.
You know? Go ahead, Al.
And come against her,
Mercy, man.
and rise up to the battle.
I mean, we doing the same thing. We already giving you the truth and you don't even want it. We out here giving you the scriptures and you don't want it. We giving you the prophecies, but you don't want it. It's really entertainment. That's why Jake hits you up now to can you send me the video? I want to see what you got to say about the war. It's not entertainment though. We're not here for you to click on our video every time it's a trending topic, like I said. You know? But that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna hear our words, but their heart's gonna go after their covetousness.
And it's all prophecy, bro.
Right.
Most High gonna make our tongue stick to the roof of our mouth.
Right.
They gonna, you know what I mean? Like, you should say the border of wickedness.
They said the vow shall no more be called liberal.
Right. The border
Okay.
of wickedness.
So that's what's happening. You're being exposed, and it starts with our elders and apostles preaching this gospel. It starts with the men preaching this gospel. That's what. How do you think the kings of the earth? You know what I'm saying? Why else would they go against this mountain, as the scripture calls this great mountain? Because they know that that's what it said. Hey, even Yahushua said, if you say this great mountain, bro, so knowledge has been greatly increased here in these last days.
All of the evidence.
for righteousness to start to be established on the earth. And he don't realize that because that's his nature. That's what he's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Boy, that's why Jacob's gonna get destroyed when they're joined hand in hand, because they're moving in a nature that's not theirs, right? You know what I'm saying? You know how the body spits out things when it's contrary to it. That's what we are to Esau. We're contrary to Esau, so we naturally push him away. But Jacob go around and try to, you know what I'm saying? They gonna eat all the sweets in the house. You know what I'm saying?
I was verse 18. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof.
That's the overthrow.
That's the
overthrow
of Sodom and Gomorrah.
There you go. The overthrow. Meaning it's never gonna be risen up again, man. It's overthrown, man. Go ahead.
As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord. No man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Which brings back to this day. It's desolation. It's all desolation. Nothing lives, grows, or thrives there.
So what's gonna happen? It's gonna be turned into a desert. And like the elder said, it made the comparison to Sodom, which is that way now. But that's what America's gonna be. America's gonna be what Sodom is now.
Real quick, this is Romans 9:29, and as Isaiah said before, except the Lord of Sabaoth had left us a seed, we had been as Sodom and been made like unto Gomorrah. So the Lord is coming back to redeem the elect, to separate the wheat from the tares, the righteous from the wicked, the apple of his eye. He's coming back to get the Israelites, northern, southern kingdom, and the speckled bird among them.
Wisdom Solomon 10, I'll start verse 6. When the ungodly perished, she delivered the righteous man who fled from the fire, which fell down upon the 5 cities of whose wickedness, even to this day, the wasteland that smoketh is a testimony. The plants bear fruit that never come to ripeness, and the standing pillar of salt is a monument of an unbelieving soul.
So Esau went and searched out all that stuff. Esau is a carnal man, so he said, you know what, we gotta find that. We gotta find the geographical location of Lot's wife, the geographical location of Sodom. We gotta see it to believe it. And that's how these Edomites think. Go ahead.
It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 14. Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending of the law.
Yeah, you gotta keep going to that too, bro. Next 2 verses. Because it says, let us prove whether he be.
And it says, it's like I'm reading from verse 14 again.
Call us a hate group and this and that, but
extremists.
like the apostle said, what about a prophetic group? We go into the prophecies, man. We tell you what's gonna happen before it happens. That's our whole MO.
Right.
That's all we do. What you see on camera is what we do off camera.
Right, we ain't never form a group and go tear down a government building or riot. The rioters on the street worse than us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They actually putting their plans to action, man, in terms of what they desire to do. We desire things to do amongst you motherfuckers too, but we can't do it for the sake of prophecy or for the sake of time, man. You know what I'm saying?
To elaborate on it real quick, that's why I said the way the truth shall be hid, that's the second all that shit's still gonna be going on. But the prophets, the tongues gonna believe in their mouth, they gonna be dumb in those days. And dumb in the
That's happening right now. Because
Yeah,
Apostle Gabar just said it. Brother Yakron just mentioned it too. Other brothers is talking about people hitting them up, asking about the little shit that's going on now. That's happening right now, bro. You know what I'm saying? Everything is happening right now.
I noticed Jake only acts when it's has something to do with war. Like if it's something like with famine, you see videos about the food shortages, about the economy. That don't budge, Jake. But then as soon as it's some war shit though, that war shit. That's why I said when it become evident that missiles is coming, that's what get the people like. That's what get their ass serious. They what?
Is it gonna be me?
They get crazy.
Right, war. You know,
anything about war brings them to a frenzy.
Yeah.
Because they can't continue their wickedness as usual. wars involved.
But that's why Matthew 16 chapter say you can you not discern the signs of the times, because we show you other signs, like I said, the economy, you don't budge. We show you what's going on with the food shortage, you don't budge. We show you what the prophecies say, you don't budge. But then as soon as it's a war abroad, now everybody is making memes and hitting the brothers up, and the elder Apostle Gabar said his ex-demon hit him up. What's that Bible stuff you said?
I just tell you like
Ain't that true though? Like in their affliction, they shall seek me early.
Right.
When people are in agreement with each other, they move alike, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when women are around each other, they have the same periods, like they monthly are around the same time. People smoke together, usually hang together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like a crack light.
Yeah, it was something brother that said, damn man, I've been losing my throat all day. It was something he said, man.
Gotta jump straight into the point.
I know, man. I'm trying. They got a backstory.
I was gonna say, hey, remember bite it
Because you said something. He just said something, bro. Damn it, man. Because it made me think of the point of how we dealing with war,
right?
And dealing with the missiles and everybody. What you say, bro? You said everybody when it comes to war, that's when everybody gets serious.
Yeah, right.
They get scared. Yeah.
I lost it. Come back to you.
Boy, that motherfucker out there, ain't
You're like the wind, man. Hey,
that boy long ago.
Recently, Biden was talking about how America is gonna feel the effects of this war that's coming up. Because in this generation, Jake ain't really felt the traumatizing, experience of going through a war. You know what I mean? Like, so, hey man, that's why.
Happened, bro. That's
right.
What the so-called Middle Easters say that. They say they don't know what it's like to actually,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Feel what we feel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When these people they panicking about floods and shit in their home and their basements. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucking, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
little stupid shit, bro.
Yeah,
They ain't gotta go through selling your organs for food.
Bro, they don't
Right,
have to go
exactly.
through
Right.
having to make a life
sell your
decision.
daughter.
That's what I was just about to say. They don't
Yeah,
have to go
your
through the decision of making, do I sell my sister or do I eat this motherfucker? You know, they don't have that mindset yet, bro. You know?
And that show you how stupid them people was, and what was really you can't sell shit if nobody's buying.
Right.
But like they ate their son in the scriptures, they ate that little boy, but they probably would have been off just trying to sell him, making more money, buying more food, you know. But then again, money, you can't eat money. See, so that's why the time that's coming is gonna be crazy.
Right.
So
Or
it's
if
gonna
the
be
son,
crazy.
or if the son was sick, there's no value to it. That's the whole agenda of Esau with the whole vaccine and the plagues coming out is to get rid of the sick slaves because they once, you know what I'm saying, or the older,
Well,
you know,
they want to kill off a lot of people.
Yeah.
right, you know what I'm saying, because you need the best, healthiest trained slaves to be slaves.
That's war tactics.
Con.
You kill all the old off and keep the young.
Keep
You
the
kill some
young,
of the young too
con.
for fear.
For right, con.
You keep them to raise up another kingdom, another
Con.
empire,
There
man.
was a movie called The Thinning, I think it was, or The Trimming. It was called The Thinning or The Trimming, and it was about a scheme of depopulation, trimming down the population. You read that? Finish it out.
Verse 19. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong, but I will suddenly make him run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me?
That's the whole food. Go ahead.
Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord, he that he had taken against Edom, and his purposes, that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out.
The least of the flock is going to draw them out. So we waiting on the major things that we waiting on as far as war is concerned is for Israel to get involved, for Iran to get involved, and for America to get physically involved with Gog and Magog Russia. Okay, them is the top four players, and once that gets cracking, you know, then we start looking up, you know. But ultimately, even then, I see this what I see is the economy deteriorating, and things continue to deteriorate with the food crisis. Other crises start to happen at home more now.
Right.
Cyber attacks, things of that nature, are going to happen more now, and that's going to lead to the implementing of the RFID.
Right, we gonna.
And it's going to also lead to a fight for which digital currency is going to.
Get this piece of the Acts real quick. It's a book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 2. It says, "I will also gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat." Because, like the brother just read, the least of the flock shall draw them out. We already see the nation of Israel getting involved with different wars over there and stuff like that. They've been involved in different conflicts and missile defense, going into war as far as offense and defense. And going through that, going a couple years back. But the Lord He's not gonna stop that action. He's gonna keep stirring it up until eventually, all of the prophecies is fulfilled, man.
God.
Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall, at the cry and noise, at the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. Behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle and spread his wings over Basra.
The Lord gonna spread his wings over Basra, man. All right, them chariots it said that this is the plague that covers the face of the whole earth. In Zechariah the 5th chapter. All right, go ahead.
And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pain.
Yeah, you see? Eve ain't even been on the battlefield yet. She already in the car crying. But now you got some Edomites that